There it is, our draft for game number 1, OG.
And I think it goes back a lot to what you said. OG picking Phoenix as that first pick, it's a reaction pick, right? Because what does Phoenix actually give away? You know, he's going to be good support. You know, he's going to dominate the mid game, but it lets them just round out their whole draft first. And we've seen him do a lot of Phoenix and Void, so you never know.
Also keep an eye on heroes like Bristleback and a hero that both teams have run, but Faceless I think a bit more like the Night Stalker. I think especially with the vision, how important vision is, and then you look at being able to lock off the enemy jungle or maybe make rotations, especially if you're on the dire side. I think the Night Stalker provides a lot of value. And if we talk about the offlaner shift for maybe these greedier farming offlaners to something that's more tempo, that's more active early, I think the Night Stalker fits that mold.
And Night Stalker, let's see, Night Stalker, Clockwork, there's a lot of these heroes. Sand King, I think, is another great example of those kind of 3-4 positions that really provide a lot of versatility in the draft. It seems that that's particularly key in this patch.
Yeah, we saw, I mean, NP did a lot of it too. They picked those heroes up early to surprise you with something else, and I mean, just picking up those key heroes are important. I mean, OG's first bans, we were right. I mean, Wisp and Spirit Breaker, so they are nervous about that. Maybe they just don't want to play a run at you style.
What about that Legion Commander, though?
Legion Commander? I got nothing, Jack. You?
The fact that they're banning this may suggest that they want to take a Bristleback if it isn't taken from them here in this first pick.
There you go. I mean, there you go. OG just takes a super easy support. One of those, it doesn't give away anything. They're just happy to get a super heavy team fight hero.
Dependable first pick for them. Offers good sustain in lane. Against a tri-lane with the Fatal Bonds can potentially be difficult to play against. And then obviously the great counter initiation. And OG played this hero so well.
Ken, what do you think about the LC?
Well, I think I've said a couple times that I'm not particularly a big fan, but I think it's an okay if you need a reactionary hero for your offlane or more solid lockdown.
Oh, wow, and they take it, just clock Shadow Fiend. We saw it almost done last time, and it got banned out.
They opened the first game of the EG series with this as well. Just such a great start for the Shadow Fiend. We talk about the importance of heroes mid who can clear those lanes. We're off to a good start, unless you gank this hero constantly. So very difficult to deal with. And then just the Clockwork, Cap, you mentioned some of these versatile picks, something like a Sand King that you can pick early but doesn't give away by position. Clock has been the other big hero that fills that role. Like you play it as a 4, play it as an offlaner. We've seen people do it successfully in different ways. So.
We've seen it played so scary. I mean, MSS on it in the off lane, and then Kaka on it in the 4 position. Like, it's just a scary hero that doesn't give away much, and obviously Shadow Fiend benefits quite a bit from it early game.
Yeah, absolutely. The SF, I think this is probably one of the few mids that you're willing to pick up early solely because you do have that Clockwork Cogs to work off of,
Whoa.
right?
There's the Jarek's hero, Pudge, going in early, so they take both supports, and I mean, that's one of those heroes that a reasonably hard counter to a Shadow Fiend middle. You know, you get one hook, Shadow Fiend's not going anywhere. He's going to die.
Yeah,
Is that the idea, Jack? Put pressure on mid?
I think so. This was used very successfully against Faceless in Kiev, the second game of that series. And also, talking about kind of small counters to Clockwork, I mean, you can get out a hero that's been cogged as well with the hook.
I think it's nice too. The Shadow Fiend obviously playing middle, but he's going to be your hard carry more than likely, which is whack. And I mean, you want the guy who used to play hard carry to play on that middle lane.
And you want XY to do a little bit more? Yeah, Daryl's just full of surprises. Pulling out magic tricks right before our very eyes. Can you do that, Grant?
I cannot. I think the real magic trick is going to be beating OG. Best team in the world. That'd be good.
Terribly going to be banned away by Team Faceless. If you do have this SF as more of your hard carry, what are you looking for Faceless when it comes to your safe laner? What's that XY going to be playing?
I think you want to, I mean, maybe another hard carry, but one that can definitely fight in the middle game, something like a Luna. I think Luna would be really good Faceless. I think Venge actually would have been great. We haven't seen much carry Venge in a while, but he's something that provides insane amounts of damage and early game team fight.
There's also a bit of aura stacking there. Grant, are you, what happened to the aura strats? I mean, pushing is still a thing, right? You want a lot of team fight power. What's wrong with it?
It got nerfed a little bit because split pushing is once again strong. You see a lot of invokers, even Furion's by EG or something like that, and it just, I mean, if you run an aura strat and you just don't go to the same lane, you just lose that pretty easily.
I still think that with the Legion ban, it clues towards the look for an opening to maybe get a Bristle, Parrot, or something, even if there's no Wisp. I think a hero that's kind of difficult for these two supports to deal with obviously can take Ancients and help with the Roshan. There's some synergy there with the armor as well, and then provides a good frontliner. And if they want to end the game early, or if the window exists to do that, obviously Bristle is a good part of that as well.
Signature hero bans, Terrorblade and the Storm Spirit.
Black has had a pretty dominating performance mid, and it actually looks like he's been carrying harder on that mid lane than he was when he was actually in the carry lane. Like his OD yesterday was so insanely far more than anything I've seen in a long time.
We complimented him going into Kiev that the same change of playstyle that both him and Burning had to go through, and being a lot more aggressive. He did a great job adjusting to that role, but it does seem like it's just more natural for Black to be that carry, that farmer.
So top heroes, Arc Warden. I think our stats people might be a little bit napping, but it's all good. I don't think anyone's top hero is an Arc Warden, but that's fine.
I think the only team that dares to run that hero right now, OG.
I think OG. I don't know why that's not over there, but
I think they were winless with it on the last patch, but we did see them play a bunch of times, and then Black played it in Starlander as well.
Didn't No Tails say, I'm gonna make this hero work, and he just never did.
If No Tail can't pull it off.
Who can? Juggernaut. Just the team fighting carry. You want to just help Shadow Fiend.
Are you not scared of Alchemist and Naga Siren in this current patch?
I am. I think obviously, especially versus like OG, if they're going to pick it, they're the teams who do. I mean, you always got to be scared if you just get a good laning phase with an Alchemist or Naga. Like those heroes aren't supposed to have good laning phase, and if they do, they just come online so much quicker than any other. Crystal Main just. It's good for SF. His aura is actually, or her aura is actually so good for Shadow Fiend. Like, you don't have to go the Aquila if you don't, because you usually see bottom Aquila, and this time you don't have to. You just get online quicker, get a Shadow Blade, a Blink if you want.
Yeah, Funked and I were actually having a conversation about this Crystal Maiden and Clockwork duo as a support duo. I think we both kind of felt like Crystal Maiden should still kind of feel a lot of value. And with this duo specifically, there is so much kill power. I don't think there's any way that Warlock Pudge as a duo can stand up to that kind of rotational power that Faceless has.
Do you think it's going to be a support Clockwork, Jack?
I think so. I think because of the options is still available in the draft for Ice Ice Ice, I think because of the strong possibility of that Bristle or something like that, that this Clock will most likely be roaming a little bit.
Yep.
Especially if they expect it to counter the Pudge or counteract the Pudge with the CM as well.
Yeah, you're really honed in on that Bristleback. Do you think if they pick it, they just have the complete advantage of the game here? Or?
The Anna Invoker.
I like that. The Invoker can obviously, outranges Shadow Fiend. He actually gets decent farm in the lane. Versus Clockwork, Crystal Main, you want somebody who can go into the jungle if he can, obviously, with the Forge Spirits. Invoker can just fall back if he's getting pressured toward lane, go to the jungle. As long as you have good wards up, and OG, some of their warding, they play really defensive with it. It's going to be really only the smoke gangs that they're scared of at this point.
I think one of the dangerous things when you have an Invoker on the field is that the game goes too late. He gets out of control, but Faceless now has some beautiful synergy with the Troll Warlord being picked up, one of the most popular carries in this patch, and has now we have two very solid high ground pushing heroes.
As well as extremely high DPS. You have your Roshan taking hero, and they take the Earthshaker, and I believe that will be the offlane hero. Provides you a lot of team fight as well as lockdown. That's the biggest thing. They have Rock, they have Earthshaker, they have Invoker. Pushing uphill into this, you just said that Faces has a lot of it, and that's still insanely difficult to do as Earthshaker, Invoker, Warlock.
Yeah, and if he gets his items on early, a lot of setup for both the Pudge and the Sunstrike. If you've seen Invoker get bullied in lane often, way back into the game, is able to be part of those Sunstrike kills. And Earthshaker's been a pretty good setup for that in the last few matches that we've seen.
And we got True Strike on the Earthshaker as well. That was a patch change in 7.06, so if we do have the Whirling Axes come out for the Troll, don't have to worry about that miss.
Looks like you watched Purge's video.
I did.
All right. I just feel like Team Faces is already, their hero comp just looks way easier to execute when I go into a game. Like, as a caster looking at that. And like you see what Faceless wants to do. OG, you don't know if they want to play reactively, like if they want to like sit in their base, farm up, win that team fight, like beat them even though you're down, and then push. Faceless, they have everything they need right now.
They have a lot of offlane choices too, not just the Bristle, but also the Abundance and the table, the Nyx as well, which does pretty well against some of OG's heroes.
Yeah, the Nyx Assassin, I think, was particularly disruptive in one of our series against an Earthshaker. Always being able to stop that combination of spells. We also don't have any, like, normally when you look at an Invoker, he's kind of slow to come online, but he's buoyed up by the fact that we usually have these kill combinations with Sunstrike. On the OG side, I don't really feel like the easiest combinations, like, say, an offlane Clockwork would give you. Even the Earthshaker kind of needs his Blink Dagger before we see that Wombo combo power.
Yeah, Clockwork can really just get Tranquil Boots, roam around the map, do it as easy as possible. On OG, the AC is going to be on point with these Sunstrikes, but I think Pudge is going to be sitting around middle a lot trying to kill that Shadow Fiend, because, like you said, Pudge Warlock, you can't really kill Troll with that support duo, right?
Well, they're going to try it again.
There it is.
Again. OG have been trying to force this hero for so long.
You call it. It was their meta here, not Faceless's.
They're going to go for it one more time.
I personally don't like it. I just think it is the worst hero in the game, but if No-Tail says it's going to make it work, then I hope he can.
Jack, does this give them, I feel like in some ways Arc Warden is a pretty good late game hero, but is there any chance they could beat Faceless's Shadow Fiend, Troll, and +1 core that we still don't know?
That's
going
the thing.
past 45 minutes?
That's the thing. I think Faceless can potentially go a little bit greedier here. There's a lot of pressure, it feels like, on OG right now because they require a lot of resources on both the Invoker and Arc Warden. So that's the choice that I think Faceless, has to deal with this last pick. And they could get run over quickly if things don't go well in the laning phase.
We do have the Clockworks, really the only way to get to that Arc Ward in the bag. I think something like a Slardar to blink in there, and if you have a Slardar Clockwork, you can really mix it up there.
Sand King, he's also still out there. He's got a Crystal Maiden Aura to work with as well.
I like Slardar or Sand King here. I think they're both super strong heroes against Arc Warden.
You really want the Initiator and not the more defensive Abaddon type hero?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think, well, they know what they want right here. They're putting on their headsets. They're waiting it out. I really, well, okay.
Whoa, it is going to be an offlane Clockwork and a 4-position Enchantress all of a sudden Faces. Going to take the tempo right up to OG. Try and win that first 10 minutes.
Yep. I believe Faceless, I think they just have a very good draft all around. They're going to have early game, they're going to have mid game. I think they're just going to run over OG in about 20 minutes, as long as they have to win their lanes. I think Shadow Fiend obviously has to win his lane, especially with the early damage from the cogs, and then Troll, if you have the Crystal Maiden and Enchantress roaming around, I think he'll be fine.
This is interesting. We talked about that flexibility at the clock. Maybe we thought it was going to be a support. Suddenly moves to offlane. Expect Jabs to be very active in the enemy jungle, probably playing in that jungle most of the time. And yeah, if they get a stranglehold on this early, I think they're in good shape.
So you don't believe in the Arc Warden, either one of you?
I think it's the worst hero in the game.
All right, worst hero in the game, we'll have to see. Can OG pull it out? Can they finally make the Arc Warden worth it? 7.06, we'll have to see. We've got Toby and Merlini. Take it away for game number 1.
I love the question, Cap. Can Arc Warden actually work? OG, they seem to believe in this more than Razor, and with Burning, is this going to work? And up against Faceless, who seem to have such good early game pressure?
I don't think it's the worst hero in the game. It's probably maybe bottom 20th, but I've seen a lot of good Arc Wardens and been destroyed by it many, many times.
Okay, but does it work in this matchup?
I think they don't have good melee heroes to stand inside of the bubble. I think that's one of the reasons why they drafted Arc Warden. It's really good at defending the high ground with the magnetic field.
Okay, we do also have a couple of other quirky things. So we were wondering what was going to go around with the Earthshaker. No big combinations with it, but it is S4 playing that up against the Clockwork offlane. So we have Ice, Ice, Ice on that long-range initiation Clockwork. And victory goes to Radiant. OG won with money.
A couple thousand levels there.
It's pay to win. It's the new Ursa set. All right, so into the game we go. So yeah, what do you think about like this with the Earthshaker versus the Clockwork? Why get the Earthshaker for OG?
I wasn't particularly sold on that. I think that Earthshaker's cast point is really high enough to the point where he can't cast anything during a battery assault, aside from Echo Slam, which you don't really want to expend. on a clock inside of Cogs, but maybe it's for the high ground defense. I think their high ground defense with Pudge and Shaker and Arc Warden's field, it's going to be very hard for Faceless to break T3s, even if they do get a good start.
So Faceless with momentum then, if they can get up some big cores. And then you have to start thinking about like Faceless' timing. Like you've got an SF, you've got a Troll Warlord. Maybe at least from range they can start doing that kind of siege and get some pickoffs. The Clockwork is fantastic. We've seen him throughout this tournament separate teams with his cogs.
30 seconds to battle.
XY. Jirax has the rot leveled up, so there's no way to hook him back in. He needs to close the distance. But this means XY will not be able to contest that top rune. In fact, Faceless, they're still kind of only just now coming out of their base with everybody else.
One of the downsides of the Cogs.
Yeah, it's because they've got to do it with Black to build up his souls. It gives Black a huge advantage, but very difficult to control up the runes. And in fact, it looks like OG are going to actually try and claim all 4. No, Fly has to back off from that one. No other choice. But OG will claim 3 out of the 4 bounty runes, but SF is already, well, he's pretty high up on souls. Already got the 10 denies out from the Clockwork Cogs.
Yeah, you need 3 heroes there. You need the Clockwork there to set up the Cogs, you need a support to first hit it, and then you need the SF there to last hit it. So it's a fairly big commitment in the early game.
But it's still going to help him out. Ana, not really a hero who's going to be able to intimidate the Shadow Fiend. That's why you have to look for somebody else to do it. And that's where Jirax, he's always been fantastic on the Pudge, roaming around, and he loops all the way around the back. Going to look for the slowdown from the Rot. Flies in the neighborhood. Shadowwood as well. Black knows he's dead. He runs to the other side of the river, trying to find one last CS on the range creep before death. But it is OG that spills first blood.
They also weren't able to get the block off. The mid wave came a little bit closer to the Radiant side over there, and he wasn't able to see the smoke pop on the Pudge. Maybe he could run like to the southeast. But with the boots on the Pudge, very unlikely.
Yeah, Black almost having that little bit of that one position in his mind again. I've got to find that last hit, man. That last hit is what's going to allow me to win this game, because this is a little unfamiliar territory for Black playing this mid role. Do you actually like the way Faces has been switching up their roles here in the tournament too?
I think so. I think the team plays a lot better around Black instead of a 4-in-1 team. They all seem more integrated as a unit of 5 when Black is on that mid lane. I don't know if he's like making more calls or if XY is getting more involved, but
it seems, at least from the start when the draft was going on, the Black and ISI, so basically our comedy duo coming in from Faces, everyone was having a lot of fun, and Black and ISI leads us down that path, but the rest of the Faces boys were pretty well focused on draft and game.
Jab's is still level 1. I saw that he had a Wild Wing Ripper for his first creep, but he hasn't been able to really get too much farm, nor does he have a smoke, so it's hard for him to gank. Although most of the Radiant wards are on the, it's just one on the north side of the mid-river.
The Wild Wing Ripper, it's allowing ISI to have so much confidence in the bottom lane, trying to interrupt the pulls of OG. Don't let Jirax get that early farm. That was always one of the big positive points of OG, like when they ran like the Naga as well as the Pudge, when they formed this exact lineup where you would just leave Jirax in the lane to get these early levels and then just start his rotation. Ana, not the greatest position now. No consumables left apart from the one shared Tango, and misses out in the rune.
Might be right for Enchantress to gank that lane. He's been playing around the south side. He just popped his smoke.
He's got a Mud Golem as well as a Hellbear, so stun into potential double stuns after. Jirax is nearby, but where are they going to focus? Is it down towards Fly? Is it down towards Notel? ISI isn't really the initiator, but with a creep wave underneath the tower, Jabs, okay, he finds Jirax with the first stun, the clap as well. The Cogs is keeping the rest of OG pretty well occupied underneath the tower, but it's all about the runaway Pudge. Jirax denies himself. They don't even get that one. Meanwhile, you actually end up losing the Earthshaker, so a long way up. S4 gets caught out. Looks like he was trying to interrupt the pull on the top lane, and it's the Troll Warlord, the safe laner for Faceless, that finds the kill.
Yeah, all in all going pretty decently for S4, I'd say. Level 3.5. Shaker and Clock, I think, were touted as one of the two of the best offlaners in the offlane because you can just block the wave. Same with Tusk, but Tusk is not usually played in offlane, just so you can secure your first few waves. And yeah, he died, but look at the CS and look at his experience.
It's not too shabby when he's sitting on the top here while he's up on level 4.
Yeah.
Good space for S4.
With the change to the Shrine only coming out at 5 minutes, you need a hero that's stronger in the 0 to 5 in the offlane.
Jab's just bringing so many stuns over, but
He's
it may
too
just have to
fast.
block himself. So yeah, Chirax hoping to farm up any of this if possible. Nope, denied.
360 move speed with just a windlass.
Alright, so how's Anna actually 16-10 against 13-18? Black has, with that early rotation in, Anna's really found his space and strengthened this mid lane.
I think it gets a lot tougher once Shadowfiend hits 5, and he just hit 5. He also can just constantly spam out raises with Arcane Aura.
That rotation's looking to come towards the mid. It's coming from, okay, it's coming from the south with the Enchantress and from the north with the Crystal Maiden. Jirax in the neighborhood. He has the Observe Ward up on the hillside, so we saw him, but still, Nuts brought in so close to get the Frostbite over and allow the Enchantress army to do absolutely nothing. They don't have the detection. So Anna can just Ghost Walk himself back into the safety of his Tier 1 tower and potentially just trigger the Shrine.
That was a good play by Nuts. Instead of panicking and frostbiting the hero that was on top of him, he actually went on the high ground and frostbit the Invoker, almost yielding that kill.
Using Jirax's movement. It's like, okay, you want to bring me closer to the target? Fantastic. Well, okay, this one, though, already used the Frostbite support. It's on the way. Rating even scanned just so Jirax knows. Enchantress hits the first stun. The Golems need to go up the hill and get the vision as Jirax moves towards the east. Enchantress will have to hunt him down. Split up, and yep, there's your vision. Jirax will have a hard time getting out of this one. Potentially able to deny himself up depending on the timing of Jabs' secondary stun. Troll Warlord also to slow him up, and Jirax, no, he's not, yeah, he doesn't do that again. XY will rotate over, making it worthwhile by taking the kill.
I still think that OGR are doing a very excellent job of matching the movements of the Enchantress in that early game. They're getting kills in response to it, and she's not allowed to just sit there and farm. She could scale very easily with the Troll ult later in the game. She doesn't actually need that many items to do a ton of damage, maybe just like a Lance and an Axe.
She's actually rotating again in towards the mid. Surprising with such a huge arm, she just doesn't try and go for S4 and get the easy pickoffs. It's the more of a classic thing. The Hawk! Jirax able to connect the defensive Observer Ward, saw it all with the fissure from S4 helping out. Anna will claim the kill. 4 heroes from OG actually arriving into that mid lane to stop the Enchantress.
They stopped her all right. They did have to drop an Observer Ward on the high ground. That's not exactly where you want an Observer Ward this early in the game. It did yield you a kill, but Jazz pointed out, knowing that he had vision, there's no way he could hit that blind hook with so many creeps there.
It's still going to give you that security for your mid lane. Security for the Invoker, who's already having a fantastic time. 27 for 14 is the decent part of it, being the top net worth in the OG lineup. That's the other thing that really helps out the Invoker. Midas timing shouldn't be too shabby.
Now there's a lot more angles though you can approach with the Enchantress. Just gank bottom or wrap around on top
Jirax
tower.
looks like he actually got that hook into the mid lane, pulling back Black, but Black, Invis room was bottled up. They're trying to find out exactly where he's going. The Spirit from No Tail, hoping it would actually trigger, but Invis SF walks away.
This'll come in handy.
No points in the field. This could be a kill. As Ice very, very patient.
That's a level 3 battery assault. No-Tail's going to get trapped in here. How much damage have you got? The Centaur can't reach it. And No-Tail, low, the hook shot makes sure he has to stand his ground. But Ice, not a healthy man, but healthy enough to live.
I thought they were going to wait for the Centaur so he wouldn't get destroyed by the Flux. But if you're not running away, Flux is not that big of a deal.
Black is trying to play, he's playing a bait game with Nuts, hoping Anna would move forward and try to have a crack at the Crystal Maiden. Instead, you just bring in Jirax. There's a level 2 hook. Black, fancy footwork, dodges the hook.
Pudge player himself, Black is.
Yeah, he used to play that as the 1 position.
Yeah.
Long time ago. That was back when he was playing for Mouse Sports, he did that.
You ever had a 1v1 Pudge versus SF? That used to be a grudge match back in the day.
Who has the advantages? That one. Echo Slam with a Sunstrike coming in. The damage is enough. S4 liberal with that Echo Slam.
He went for a 1-1-3 build. I rarely see that on Earthshaker. I think typically it's 1-3-1 or 3-1-1, but max points from the Aftershock. I guess if you're just spamming level 1 Enchant Totem with 20 mana, it's very good for efficiency plays.
It makes sense.
I think the Earthshaker's really good at controlling the field that the Troll.
No-tail with a cold snap, difficult for Black to get away at the moment, turns around again. Black almost like he accepts the fact he's going to die, but ice, hook shots himself in, isolating Jirax inside the Cogs, XY movement in as well. They quickly get a rebuttal, but you still lose your mid for the roaming pudge of OG.
And if they could hit this tower a few times in mid, then maybe they think it's worth it, but I doubt XY will get more than a few axes thrown here.
You know, you'd probably say it's worth it if the Troll Warlord leaves the lane and someone's able to soak up the experience, but the only person who's up there right now is actually Fly. He's getting closer towards that level 6, and there's no real contest until Black goes there, and they will. They'll actually push the SF into the safe lane and perfectly TP out at the right time to dodge the movement in from Faceless to the tier 1 tower on bottom.
On the bottom side of the map, they don't really have any tower hitters. Troll Warlord is not there yet. He's moving in. They want to get something out of this, but Black's going to die again.
They are really staying on top of Black. Black again, just posturing forward. He's got no other help, and Faceless, they've got everyone, literally. They're all here in the hook. Jirax knows they don't want one, they want two. Jab's getting slammed down by S4.
No choice for Black there. He had to run into creep so he wouldn't just die to the flux. And he's going to have a hard time regaining all his souls. He has 10 souls right now. He started off with 10 souls.
They tried to give him the safety, but Faceless, like, OG read the situation perfectly. Faceless forcing in your bottom lane. What are we going to do? Move up towards the top. You saw the Black TP up there. You know that's the best place to gank. And Jirax ensured that the second person that was going to arrive to try and support Black does absolutely nothing.
It's a tough place for Black. Now his Ancients are invaded by OG. Observer Ward's dropped, and Hook is just salivating at the prospect of being able to kill this Shadow Fiend over and over in his own
This is
jungle.
a really nice rune for Ice. He'd love to have a crack at No-Tail, but maybe he's not certain about it. Instead, he goes down, steals the Bounty rune from right underneath the Invoker's nose. But he will be burning off the entire haste rune doing this. So now it's XY who's on the run. Fissure. There was something missing in that.
There was a creep wave there.
Yeah, there was. But everything looks right. But no line for Jirax to get the hook with the creep wave blocking the path. And this is actually a nice time for Black to try and force into mid lane. Well, you say nice time, but then S4 arrives, doesn't get the fissure, was waiting for No-Tail.
So despite Black dying all these times, I think Faceless have been doing an excellent job of just staying around the mid lane. They don't let the Invoker feel safe ever. He doesn't feel safe going to the jungle, just getting picked up by Clockwork. He doesn't feel safe going, staying around the mid lane, and his he was doing relatively okay in net worth relative to SF, but it's still not that bad. SF had, well, he lost all his souls, he died multiple times, and he's still fairly close.
Oh, it's SF, right? Like, it's just all about stack, flash, farm back up. That's how SF was always the big powerhouse for mid. Susceptible to ganks, but really good for getting farm. And OG, like, they're going to get a lot of efficient farm. They went for the double Midas, both Arc Warden as well as Invoker, actually finishing their Midases before the 12-minute mark.
And on the flip side, we do have one Midas coming out soon for Jabs, but that looks to be the only golden hand on the opposite side. You have to be really scared of Faceless' Roshan potential too. Only 2 levels in the Untouchable right now, but SF Aura, Untouchable, and Troll, that is just screaming Roche.
That smoke from Faceless, it was just south enough that the Observer Ward, which OG have very aggressively planted inside the Radiant jungle, doesn't see anything. So Ice will come from behind. They got a fresh double damage rune on the SF. They want to fight here. At the same time, Fly has picked up his level 6, so be careful of it. Ice, hook shots in, isolating S4 again. These cogs trapping him inside the pit. And, well, okay, they did actually find Fly over in the tree line, so S4 will go down. Fly starting up his TP. Where's a bash? Where's a stun? Where's anything? Fly is able to leave scot-free. But it may not be over just yet. No-Tail still trying to hold that top. Jirax gonna hook. Actually has to dismember, holding Black in position. So once more, SF loses his souls.
Fly was in a really good spot for that gank too. He was in a place where even if they smoked, they're not going to get that much out of it.
No-Tail, Nuts just lets it all go. Wants to get rid of the illusion as well. S4's going to arrive. Well, this is a very familiar position. Ice, and S4 having some alone time. Echo Slam comes out. Damage is minimal. The Sunstrike won't be able to connect on the retreating Clockwork. Meanwhile, Jab's getting some big burst heal and running away from the spirits. He is not a fan of ghosts.
Dude, he just lost so much there. Earthshaker, I thought had a pretty decent start, but he is going to be very far away from his Blink Dagger. Only at 700 gold after just dying twice in a row. The tower still holds, but I'm not sure if that was worth it for them. Invoker still farming up in the meantime. Didn't die there. They want to take down these towers so they can Rosh at ease.
Radiant's middle
But
tower
Rock is down, so Faces can continue to pressure more objectives.
And OG can continue to pressure as long as Jirax can find the opening. But Jirax is also having a bit of a mana problem. Fly didn't get that extra farm just yet, so
Haste.
there's no extra mana boots, even though he might be close to it. Clockwork actually starting his TP out. So that rotation in from Jirax is going to find its target.
And he only TPs at the T1 tower, so he's still here in case they do try and make a go on this tower. And it is a very low tower.
They're going to come towards mid at the same time. The Hawk pulls him down, so Ice will fall. But this mid gank came a little bit too late. Black triggered off the double damage rune, trying to push down the lane. They were hoping with the Crystal Maiden coming in from the south and the Enchantress in from the north just to pincer in around Ana. But they couldn't find that target.
Anna's reading the movements of Faceless. He's just dodging these ganks very, very narrowly.
It's enough where you think like Faceless believe they can still get the gank, so they hang around.
Yeah. That's exactly what you want to do. Lure them in a gank, waste their time, and still keep up farm in the meantime. He's 4-0-2 in the Invoker, and it's getting a little out of control for him. And Black, yeah, he's got a lot of net worth under his belt, but he's also fed away a lot of souls and a lot of net worth. And it's a lot of farm that's just going to the opposite team as he's trying to corral these neutrals.
Yep. But OG is still not that far ahead. Like, Troll is still a huge force to be reckoned with. The balling of Faceless Style is not fantastic together up against what we talked about OG. Like, whenever you go to Warlock, you're probably going to favor that team for the team fight. But Faceless still have a lot to work with. The Crystal Maiden can't stay alive long in the fights, but the Pudge hasn't really had as much of an influence as he probably would have liked to. A couple of picks here and there, but the Enchantress is still a long way ahead of him in net worth, and still is also buffed up slightly in the last patch. Ready to let that Impetus go. Ice. Perfect hook. Oh, he's going to get hooked back out again. The hook is going to work as then the Sunstrike misses the target. Ice. Needs some distance, needs some space, needs some friends, and Black is there. The damage, the fissure. Ice wants out. Has to run away from the goal. The Acro Slam from S4 puts the icing on the cake. Jirax very, very low, almost rotting himself to death at that point as the Impetus damage onto S4. The Nova keep the vision up. They don't see any more. That Dire Observe Board sees around the corner. S4 protect the boy in the bubble. They want more damage of Jirax. He's got it. After laying the hook onto Black, Jirax still in trouble. One more Impetus. Black will finally go down. No Tail will get the kill. There's only so many copies of himself he can make.
Black tried his hardest right there, but the Flux is becoming a really big issue for Faceless. Their lineup is drafted in such a way.
Oh, nuts. He'll dodge the Sunstrike just by being able to walk. And he'll get hit by the Fatal Bots. Wait, that's not enough damage, is it? Killing the Creep Wave is killing off Nuts. Reach the Shrine, trigger the Shrine. Life for the Crystal Maiden. A support lived this day.
I don't think I've ever heard so many cheers for a Crystal Maiden when she's not casting her ultimate. But their lineup is drafted in such a way that if they clump, they're going to get destroyed by Fatal Bonds and Echo Slam. But if they don't clump, they'll get isolated by the Pudge and taken down by the Flux of the Arc Warden and his Illusion. So Faceless Void probably just, or Faceless just need BKBs, I think, sooner rather than later to deal with these spells. Their physical damage is very paltry, especially if No Tail is going to commit to this magical build with the Maelstrom.
Which he did. Had to fill us up. And this game still so close. Just over 1,000 the difference in gold. So there's not that much on advantage going either side. Even the cores, the supports, everyone's sitting around that same similar point. The Earthshaker is probably the only one where you say he's a little bit further down. But that Blink Dagger is now arriving for S4. So Earthshaker, Echo Slam online. Not just a walk in and let it go. This time S4 will dictate the course of the fight.
Good time to perhaps make a move with the reveal of the Blink Dagger well before any of Faceless have BKBs.
But Faceless do still have a couple of things working their way. Having the 4-staff over on jabs, even if the Echo Slam does go off, they've got ways where potentially they can disengage. The control from the Enchantress with positioning from the Falstaff as well as her creep if she has a decent army. Currently, she's alone behind that tower.
Force Staff is not only good for saving, it's also really good for pushing the Arc Warden outside of his bubble. I've seen it used many times that way, and you're just useless without the bubble. You'll just die so quickly. The hero does have decent strength, but
4 armor.
yeah, no armor, especially versus this sort of lineup. It's really tough.
Now, that's the reason why you're meant to have multiple sacrificial illusions. We'll do the work for you. Difficult to keep those up, though, when Nuts just lets the ulti go. S4 really wants his target. And Nuts backing up. Putting himself at a high risk to try and get all that little bit of extra farm. Must be very happy if he could get to that Urn of Shadows. he got the recipe for it, but now in his quick buy, he's got the Glimmer Cape.
They do have mostly magic damage on OG's side right now, so Glimmer is very high priority for them. I'm a little surprised that Faceless haven't made a maneuver into the pit. I guess they're also scared of the spirits, the Spark Race, always being inside of the pit right now, but they could at least threaten it very, very shortly.
It's just an hilarious way that Faceless play this. Okay, chaps, juke it around the tree line. Jirax now works out where everyone is. Jirax has been hunting the Enchantress army on the top lane for a bit. But they let the Crystal Maiden farm up this mid lane. Like, Nuts is actually cracking his level 10 with this. Hook shot. Oh, okay. Good target. Finding out Fly. Fidget tries to get a little bit more space. In comes the Sunstrike. Blade Mel. Ice, just gets hooked away to his death. The last thing he'll smell is Jirax's underarm as he rots himself out. But now Roshan will also begin.
They still have the Echo Slam, and he is he's in a pretty good spot to do so. So that would just be disastrous.
Well, this is an easy way to avoid a heavy Echo Slam. Just leave XY alone in the pit. But Black doesn't want this anymore, and either I think XY understands the rest of his team doesn't want this anymore. So they bail out.
At least they're threatening it right now. Uji have to be careful about taking any fight on the bottom of the map. They had a lot of heroes respond to the Warlock kill, but they almost gave away a roast in the meantime, but they're very cognizant of it.
And you can see the timing for it as well. Like, Black wants to have that BKB. He now has the money to afford the entire thing. So Black will have his BKB for the next engagement. Troll Warlord is still a little bit away from his. He still needs the recipe, but picked up the Mithril Hammer.
BKBs are good in the sense that OG can't damage them through it, not with their items right now, but they still have things to have trouble navigating the fight. With Fissure blocks and with the fields, these range heroes aren't going to be just right-clicking with ease during the magic immunity.
OG try to get a little bit of a glimpse into the Troll Warlord with that Observer Ward, but they haven't actually got enough, so maybe they just have to force the tower and get Faceless to reveal themselves by contesting the top tier 2 tower. But then the big lines which are being drawn are all on the bottom lane. Faceless could potentially turn this into a trade-off fight if they believe their positioning is going to be better.
If OG mass TP to the bottom lane, they'll TP to try to go Roach. So they're trying to force them away from the top side of the map, whereas OG, they realize if they can push out the top lane even further, then they will have better control of Roach because they can park themselves into the dire jungle and control the shrine a little bit better. So this tower is going to fall without contest, and I don't believe it got a whiff of anyone there.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But Faceless just want the trade-off. Force in the bottom lane. Note the fact that Black also did grab that Arcane Rune around the same time as OG are going to enter the pit.
Radiant structures.
So the Radiant structure will be fortified, slowing down this push from Faceless. They're not TPing back over yet. The Observer Ward is on top of the Dire Shrine, so it's not a simple thing as just jumping in with the TPs. But the Clockwork Rock is giving a lot of information to Faceless. They understand the situation of Roshan. Question is, does Ice want to YOLO this? He may want to. Another rocket, another good vision. Here comes your hook shot going in. Looking for the battery assault. Roshan killed it by the Radiant. No time to take the Aegis Immortal, but maybe he loses his life straight after. The Sunstrike's there. The hook pulling out and back out of the pit so he can deafening blast down the Clockwork. Bottom lane, the tier 2 tower obviously did fall. So no Aegis Immortal advantage to hold on to, but they do still kill off Roshan OG.
That gives a lot of breathing room to OG. They also set up a trap with all the Spark Wraith. So instead of falling for the trap of defending the T2 on bottom, they go for the very aggressive play and set up with tons of vision around that shrine and makes it near impossible for Faceless to TP into. And if they TP to the T2, it's just way too late. They could even get like fissure blocked off the ramp if they try and go down that hill. And you're not gonna like use BKBs to try and prevent that from happening. You just waste your BKBs.
Debate, Nuts gets cracked. Sunstrike right on top of his head. And Anna becomes unstoppable. The bigger one, however, maybe catching out Black. He doesn't use the BKB. The 4-star from Jams creates a little bit more space. Ice goes in. Battery Assault S4 has to be hooked away to safety. That lifeline that just gets provided by G-Rex time and time again. Better than a 4-star.
Yeah, and if Clockwork hookshots in and then the opponent gets hooked out, he's not in a good spot. He has to retreat immediately because he's far too forward for any of his teammates to really do anything about it. And OG doing an excellent job of also just wasting the BKBs on Faceless. He drops a meteor, knows he's not going to hit, but force out the BKB. 10 seconds from Troll and from SF.
Yeah, they both burned them. I'm also loving the way that this Pudge is almost playing it like a Techies combination with the Flux. Just hook him back into danger zone and then just pop him.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of easy picks that way.
Notel needs to try and slow down Ice the Hawk. Ice be able to dodge it. That hook shot now coming back off cooldowns. If he wants to hook away to his own teammate, he can do so. The Sunstrike doesn't actually get hit by it. The Razors finally killing off the Notel illusions, but that Flux is chasing Ice. He will be okay back past the tier 3 tower.
He's dodging everything like a madman. It's crazy that he's been able to survive. The Treads, though, very good pickup as opposed to the phase on him. He just needs as much HP as possible, but they are not really addressing the big issues at hand, which is Ana having complete free farm for the last 15 minutes of the game, nor addressing the fact that they probably need Roche in order to get any sort of advantage.
Well, they're going to come for their own kill. 3-man smoke up. Troll Warlord actually already triggering the Shrine, trying to find some mana before the fight begins. But it's Ice leading this charge, and the man they're going to find is S4. Point blank range, almost hook shot. Nuts will come in. There's your 4-star from S4, giving a little bit of distance. The Nova slows him down. They need to hit the Frostbite as well with the Battery Assault. S4 just cannot run away. Jams brings in the extra damage, but the Hawk, Dirac pulling him over the side. Dismembers out as well with the EMP burn. Everyone's going to be out in the Rock as well. Ensures they stay exactly where they are. Triple kill for Anna.
Not a good place for them to fight. They also did not have their BKB fighters over there. And 1 for 3. I don't even think Earthshaker lost any gold there. He had like 80 gold when I checked him at that point. So
it looks like a space creation team more than anything else. Go out there, find a kill, and then get the hell out.
You're playing against an Arc Warden, though. Arc Warden is probably even better at Naga than split pushing when it gets even later into the game.
You trying to say this is an illusion-based hero that OG have to play again?
It is.
It is.
And I think the difference about it is that Arc Warden can actually solo kill heroes with the illusions. With the Naga Siren, it's near impossible to do so.
It's probably the reason why Notel's been so adamant to get this hero to work.
Yeah, he's getting there. He has his items.
It's the top lane to push. Bottom tier 2 tower, heavily under siege as well. Enchantress would like to come out and do something about it. Jirax misses the hook shot onto her. And then, nope, that ain't gonna happen. Jirax too far down, so Ice can't land his own hook shot.
Invisibility.
They can't push out the lane safely anymore. Even with a BKB, you don't feel safe because a Blink Echo will be more than enough to kill you with the Sunstrike added on top. But No-Tail is getting fairly monstrous at this point, and then on top of that, OG also have better high ground defense. The Flux, Invoker, Shaker, like these things are just impossible to push against without an Aegis of the Immortal. So Faceless, first they need to win fights, but they can't even push out the lanes to the point where they can even force a fight on their terms.
This is really good for S4. Not only is the Observer Ward on the bottom lane watching Faceless' movements, he also had himself an Invis rune, so Faceless don't know he's behind. And now Ice gets initiated on by No-Tail. Not even the real No-Tail, it's the secondary No-Tail, but he still wants to keep pushing forward. He's got 8-1 charges, he needs to use them. Sunstrike's going to connect. Anna finds the kill on the Ice, but XY moves forward. They really want a piece of this. The BKB's going to be triggered by XY to continue to fight. Wants the real one, but Jirax is able to go through that immunity using the Dismember. The damage Jazz will provide from up on the hill, so Pudge can't run himself away. XY gets the last bash hit, but now hit by the Meteorite and the Echo Slam. They release the Titan. OG will now have to find Nuts. He started the freezing field. He can't TP. He doesn't have mana for it right now. Nuts. Okay, he's down.
The controlling of the BKBs is is simply incredible by OG. Troll did so little during his BKB. They had to force him to the other side of the field so he could get into it. That was Enchantress's 4-stab, and then after that he just got dismembered. Yeah, they killed a Pud, but that's another BKB charge down the drain, and you're not even any closer to winning the fights if you're Faceless.
Dire's top
Nope.
tower is under attack.
This is getting worse and worse, and you start to wonder how do they stop this, because you get punished so heavily at the end of a team fight. No-Tail just BTs everyone around everywhere. And they're good to go. Black, Shadow Blade, maybe he can actually wind up and do something here. You know he wants it, but Ana, he's feeling that something's not right. Also, being underneath the tornado doesn't help. So Black does not find his opportunity. And Ana just wants to cancel off the tornado. The tornado with the tornado. It works both ways.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got him. At this point, I think Faces need a really big Enchantress, but Enchantress actually did not finish the Midas. She went for a 4-stab because they thought they would be able to take fights a lot earlier, but now that she's stuck in this position where she needs a lot more net worth, because she's excellent at defending high ground with the impetus from super far range. It's very hard to approach uphill and actually siege her unless you hook her. But when she doesn't have that many items, you can just tank it up. No problem.
Jirax is on the hunt. He's right next to Nuts now. He doesn't have vision on the other side. He also has one Observe Ward. Gonna plant it down behind, actually on the low ground, so still has no idea that Nuts is close by until now. Comes in, there's your quick hook. Nuts waiting on his Frostbite. Jazz is coming in, but the Sunstrike is gonna do the job. Ana is being lined up. Pudge the Butcher. Setting the meal for the Invoker and will have to sacrifice his own life for it.
Nice attempt with the 4-stab stave, but it just took a little bit too much damage too quickly.
That cold snap damage. Just the hold into a tornado. XY is up. He's still got his BKB available. Hook shot, point blank range. It's only going to hit onto the fake Arc Warden as Ana inside the tree lines has the invis, so XY has to mop up the pieces. Another BKB charge down to 7 seconds. Has it on cooldown. They're looking for more. The SF wind up with his ultimate. Does some work, but the rock has to be dropped here by Fly. Has to create us that little bit more space while Black goes under the immunity of his BKB. Kills off at least one, but the Fatal Bonds, the Echo Slam from S4 does work. Clockwork, the Blade Mill, they don't really want to fight him, but the Deafening Blast, S4, you thought he might have been safe inside the cogs, but Jabs is there to do the last points of damage. BTs, they're coming in again, but Nuts, let it go! All over Ana as he runs away. Ice still has more trouble. It's No-Tail and wait, it's also No-Tail. Moving for more targets, killing off Nuts, finding Jabs in the tree line. The Observer's going to give him everything he needs once Jabs goes down the hill line. XY turning back in for the fight. There's your bubble, there's your protection, and there's your support. Ana dropping down the meatball. He'll find the kill onto XY as Jabs holds himself next to the tier 2 tower, but No-Tail with a triple kill. In fact, they are all dead.
I love these chat wheels. No chance without the BKBs up. Again, Troll goes in, BKB does pretty much nothing with it. And then after that, you're just caught in no man's land, eternally chasing heroes who have more movement speed or 4-stabs to save them.
Well, let's see that again.
Yeah, great Echo Cunningham, the Mjolnirs coming into play here, and Ana just doing an excellent job of controlling the fight from the front line, and everyone's just running away in between the Flux and the Ice Walls and the Tornadoes and the Blast, and this looks pretty promising, but there's not enough damage on Invoker before he slaughters the rest of the team.
Well, Invoker is just so huge. Come back to the real time. Ice initiated in. Jirax push outside the cogs. He'll survive as Ice goes up the hill. The EMP burn won't affect him as Jabs. He will at the front line, so Jirax will have to sacrifice himself. Hooking over Black just so he can be there. What should happen?
Savage ranked.
The one person we didn't mute. But Pudge does go down.
I think it's time for them to make a play at Roche. It's getting to that point where if you lose the next Aegis, you're going to get eternally sieged by the Arc Warden to the point where you can't actually even fight them in a straight 5-on-5. So you need the Aegis to at least buy yourself some breathing room to farm up some more items.
Yeah, but the items are rolling in for OG. And we just saw them. The Orchid's going to come up on No-Tail, so they got the extra disable from him. The full Octarine completed on the Invoker, who's already level 24. Level 25 is only half a level away from him. And then Tornado, Sunstrike. Come on, is there anything this Invoker cannot kill actually everything but Crystal Maiden, but she's just so easy to kill.
That was so sad. He died from full HP from a tornado into a Sunstrike.
See, that's the reason why you feel sorry for supports when they die, or you feel happy when they live, when they run away from that one little fluxling.
I feel for him, and without this, it's going to be very tough for Faceless to hold any sort of fight now.
They're going to need a miracle at this point of the game. They are so far behind. The gold is going to increase. Ice, ice, ice. You really just try and have a crack at that one with the cogs. These guys play like they have nothing to lose. But now they have no clockwork for 50 seconds, so something was lost.
Even more kiting now.
Oh, and again, XY, well, the BKB and just TP out. He does not want to try and man mode this when a troll walks away from the Invoker.
Wow! Having a little fun now that they can rest easy with Aegis under their belt.
Well, this is a very positive game for OG, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. They can even play it slowly if they want to. They don't even have to end it with this Aegis, but I think they're far enough ahead that they can at least hit some buildings with it, with both of the fields.
A Blink Dagger for a Troll Warlord. So 34 minutes in, you commit in towards the Blink Dagger. Now, there's no buyback available. He's short by 1100.
But even with the Blink Dagger, let's just say he blinks in, he can get rocked, he can get dismembered, he can get, they can just Force Staff whoever he's targeting.
So what's the plan with the Blink Dagger? Is he meant to jump the back line and just bash Lord out the wall before the ulti can come out?
That's what you're always hoping for.
Oh, No-Tell committing in. Black has to use his BKB, but all he gets to kill is an illusion. It's not even the real thing in the Sunstrike. Black will dodge it. The sprites were healing him up pretty nicely, however.
But you see how much trouble these illusions themselves are causing, let alone getting a straight 5-on-5.
Are they really illusions? I don't think illusions actually describe them. Clones. Yes, clones I like. Not the original, but almost as good.
I would like to see damage done on his clone as opposed to himself right now.
You need Jab to start stealing him, and then the ability to actually use it properly.
Yeah, normally as a melee here, you can run in and hit it. But
the jump in, well, XY is going for it, but again, the bubble was up, and it's only the illusion. Maybe they can find something real, and that's what they're looking for, the cogs, but there's so many Force-Staffs that Ice just can't keep on top of them. As he runs over, he's still fighting this out inside the jungle. He needs more life, and he may have it. No-Tail will finally fall. They needed something like that. Black stopping the farm helps him able to dodge the hook from Jirax. Still gets hit by the Sunstrike and the Cold Snap. Anna wants a little bit more out of this one. Cold Snap will start to wear off. Here comes your Meteorite. Force him away. Protect Nuts.
They didn't even bother giving the Arc Ward in the Aegis because they just assumed that he wasn't going to die at all. But Ice looking for the only opportunity they have right there when he's so isolated from his team.
That's a BKB still on Troll, but XY, yeah, they try and protect him with Glimmer Cape. Let him run back and regenerate quickly.
And even with the kill on No-Tail, they still lose a Rex. And a melee Rex at that.
Yep. And they're going to lose all their shrines as well. Now there's only the one left inside the northern part of the jungle, Tornado. Missing for the moment as Anna was looking for jams or nuts. Wasn't able to connect, however. But he knows if he does, it's a pretty simple task. Black looking for his opening. Okay, it's going to be the Frostbite onto Jirax. Support's on their way, but the Impetus damage starting to really do some work. But EMP Tornado, Black, hook shot. Ice wants another crack at this one. Invoker doesn't have a Force-Staff available, so he has to sit around here. But S4, you know what he's waiting for. Wait. Okay, no, you can't wait much more. Jabs found him, actually hit the attack. So S4 loses his Blink Dagger. Trying to use the Force-Staffs to get his teammates away to safety. Meanwhile, No-Tail's taking mid.
You think you can ban out the Rat versus OG?
Right, that's almost dying that battle. Goodbye, Black. And now, maybe also goodbye, Jabs. The Cold Snap's doing the work. The Fissure, it even clips Ice. Slowed down by the upheaval. So Jabs on the run, going back down to the place where his shrine used to exist. XY has managed to find the kill over on S4, but it's Jabs who's going to the wrong side of the tracks. As far away from harm as possible, so as far away from the dire side of the map.
That uphill miss into a haste rune. Count your blessings, Jabs.
This is really cruel. No Tail is just... Oh, he's pushing solo while the rest of his team are just on a blood hunt. And they found blood. It's Enchantress blood. We're having venison tonight.
Is there such thing as overkill on venison? I think they've had enough.
Tenderized meat. 16-0-11 on Ana. Okay.
I do like how we're seeing this like intra-tournament meta where you will see certain heroes get countered by solutions that we previously hadn't seen before. Like Troll was picked so much in this week and last week, but now you're seeing maybe Arc Warden is a very good counter for them. He doesn't really do much versus the Flux. He has a hard time dealing with the field, and even with an item like Blink, he still needs MKB. You definitely need BKB, and even with all these items, he's still rendered fairly useless. And even in the last series, we saw the Brewmaster versus the Sven. So these cores that were once seen as first pickable because they had very few counters are starting to lose a lot of value as the tournament develops and more strategic time is given to the captains and the drafters.
And that was one of the things we kind of wanted to see with like OG, if they can actually get that grip on the developing meta. Coming into this series, they had issues in the upper bracket, hence they're down here in the lower bracket playing 2 elimination games potentially today. No Tail raises from the SF, trying to do the work, but the bigger one called out is going to be Jirax. Sunstrike next on XY. Jirax, he needs a push. S4's got the staff to do it, and now Tornado nuts. Stays alive because he's able to dodge it, but XY, BKB triggered, wants to kill on Ana, but he's got the safety bubble up and running.
I must say XY has not been very lucky in his bashes this game.
He really hasn't been.
Dire's bottom barracks.
Has to run away under the cover of his own Shadow Blade. Get back inside the base, back for the defense.
Well, I guess that's why he doesn't play the Spirit Breaker anymore.
Jirax, where's your hook? Black, again, able to dodge it. Maybe gonna cotton on to the fact there is some vision around there. Tornado and EMP. Black again. Oh, the Hawk, the creep wave is there to help save him, but Black has no mana to raise with, so he's already gonna be triggering off the shrine inside the base. Not something you really want to be doing.
It's like walking through a minefield, though.
Oh, the Sunstrikes. Share the damage. Jabs holding the hands of nuts.
There's the Spark Race on the north side and the south side. They have to dodge tornadoes,
what are you doing?
Sunstrikes.
He's going to cog outside the Hook a little too early. He'll hit the deck. And now Hook shots down. They find S4. That impedance damage is huge. The 4-stuff away. S4 will fall, but so will the rock from Sky. Missing another Hook, Jirax. Unable to hit that control. Tornado will hit up onto Ice. As everyone tries to split, again, another Hook. Astray from Jirax, even with the Aghanim Scepter. Unable to find that target, but you do still eventually bring down Troll Warlord. So a 4-on-4. Troll Warlord missing is a pretty damn big thing. The Black, 36 souls to work with, gets hit by the Tornado, and EMP again. He has to BKB in order to stand on the front lines to fight this out. The Golem is just bringing down the range ranks bit by bit. Now that the immunity is gone for Black, he has to run. The Cold Snap's doing his work, so Black 4-star out with the blink forward, and it's going to find him inside, almost at the fountain, where Jabs is still on the hunt, but back over towards the racks. That's where you got the other fight going on. No Tail on the wall with support from Jirax, hooking down Ice, proving who really has the stronger one out of the two. Yeah, you want to walk in there, you can get frozen, force up, Jabs, dodges, the Sunstrike. No, don't walk back into it, he's fine. Salving up as well, any kind of regeneration, get Nuts back into safety. Jirax would love a little bit more, the tier 4 towers. Eventually they'll go down. OG, they now have their Megas up, finishing up all the racks. A perfect EMP, following up. No, Jirax, hooking away S4, maybe trying to stop him from killing him off. He says mercy, then GG will allow for such a thing. Faceless will end being all dead, and OG claim game 1 in this best of 3.
You could have turned